will sing you pirate songs and tell you pirate stories of Wendy when she'd had her fill of Peter Pan and the other lost boys. Now, Wendy never was a girl to go against her friends, but recall when Hook had kidnapped her and promised no good end. Surrounded then by pirates and asked to join the crew, the story goes she told them no, but not all tales are true. Wouldn't she rather climb the rigging and wield a cutlass bright? Wouldn't she rather have her own sweet say all wrong and right? Your decision, girl, says Hook, you think you'll pass the test. The scurvy crew are sniggering, but Wendy answers yes. You set me any task, old man, and watch me see it through. You've never known the likes of piracy a girl can do. I will sing you pirate songs and tell you pirate stories of Wendy when she'd had her fill of Pan and the other lost boys. Old Hook Review sets me to draw a contract then and there. Survive and you're my daughter, says he. Succeed and you're my heir, says Wendy, then I'll sign. But Captain, just be sure you know, break your word and it's straight to retirement or down to the crock you go. Says Hook, you see you do the same, my girl, no secret plans. If e'er I find you're scheming with that rascal Peter Pan, it's down to the crock you'll go yourself, or a likewise watery grave. But Wendy simply shakes his hand, resolving to be brave. Says Captain Hook, I keep my word, says Wendy, we shall see. She signs the scroll red-handed, Jill, and hands it back to Smee. She sets her jaw and binds her hair, a girl no longer free. Oh, I will sing you pirate songs and tell you pirate stories of Wendy when she'd had her fill of Pan and the other lost boys. Well, old Hook thought he had Wendy, and he thought he'd break her yet. He set her first to scrubbing pots and swabbing every deck. Before you learn the pirate life, you'll do the work that's worst. We'll not have you soft, Jill, you'll know hunger, work, and thirst. So it's up the deck and down the deck, red-handed Jill did toil. For Hook would never have a future daughter known as spoiled. She cooks, she cleans, grows strong and lean, and every night she cries. For old Hook's men keep up their jeers the harder that she tries. Oh, I will sing you pirate songs and tell you pirate stories of Wendy when she'd had her fill of Pan and the other lost boys. Well, it didn't take long, as we knew 'twould be, for Peter Pan to learn of Wendy's state, and he strove to knock old Hook a nasty turn. He comes to rescue Wendy, steals out to the ship by night, and dries her tears most gallantly in the full moon's yellow light. Let's go back to the forest, says brave Peter with a smile. Your brothers truly miss you, as the lost boys do, and our Wendy longs to take his hand, but she must shake her head. The tears return, she takes a breath to say what must be said. I'm bound to stay here, Peter, and to learn among Hook's men, until such time as they decide to call me one of them. Oh, Peter Pan, he smacks his head to clear his silly ears. He can't believe what Wendy says, not a word of what he hears. But Wendy, Peter says, this ship is not where you belong. Wendy cries, this ship is mine, and Peter Pan is wrong. Old Hook forgot his mother, well, I'll not forget my own. It's she who gave me courage and first told me to be strong. Like you, I'll use my cunning and survive to see the dawn. And when this scurvy crew's in hand, I'll set a course for home. She winks at Peter then in hopes he'll understand her game. But Peter flies just out of reach and quickly places blame. Says Pan, you have betrayed me, Hook has stolen you away, and so I wish you joy of him until your dying day. Says Wendy, very well, Pan, though I'll never wish you ill. Just see you steer clear of your enemy, red-handed Jill. And Peter flies away, a furious star against the black. And Wendy squares her shoulders, though she feels her young heart crack. Oh, I will sing you pirate songs and tell you pirate stories of Wendy when she'd had her fill of Pan and the other lost boys, of red-handed Jill who'd had her fill of Pan and his lost boys. Never fear, my listening ones, Wendy's story's far from done. Soon Jill had got her days in hand and dried up all her tears, staring down the pirate's jibes with a quick and haughty sneer. She often tricks the sailors into finishing her chores, and trades a home-cooked meal to them for lessons, tricks, and swords. Still nights she sits up all alone to greet the stars and think. And one soft eve in Neverland she spies a star upon the strand, dancing straight into her hand, and laughs, for here is Tink. Now Tinkerbell had ne'er approved of Wendy in her way, but fairies love to gossip, and Tink was mad at Pan that day. She listened close to Wendy, who unloaded all her tale, and learning the whole story grew by turns giddy and pale. She vowed to go to Peter and the boys in dirty throng, to tell them Wendy's one true plan and how they'd done her wrong. And so the pixie left the ship lest anyone should see. Wendy waves her hand and smiles, a smile of victory. Oh, I will sing you pirate songs and tell you pirate stories of Wendy when she'd had her fill of Pan and the other lost boys. One balmy night, as Jill sat still watching the stars go by, just as we knew she would, she catches old Hook in a lie. Hidden by the thickest mass, Jill hears old Hook and Smee, full plotting Wendy's dark demise with blackest pirate glee. Says Hook, we'll madden Peter Pan and get back our wicked lives. I've a match for Wendy, known for murdering his wives. Red-handed Jill began to shake and froze where she did stand. She knew the tale of Bluebeard. Would he come to Neverland? Hook and Smee schemed on and on as midnight drifted in, and Jill did quake with fear to learn the captain's next of kin was Bluebeard, who they'd send her off to marry straight away. For now she was Hook's daughter, destined not to have her say. Hid fast she overheard them, and her pirate heart grew pale. But our girl is clever, and Bluebeard's another tale. Recalling their agreement, Wendy steals Hook's chance to gloat. It's up she comes, her cutlass drawn, and holds it at his throat. My duty's nullified, old man, though you would be my father. Our terms did clearly state now one may plot against the other. To retire or walk the plank, the choice remains your own. For your ship is mine, dear captain, and we'll see you off at dawn. Oh, I will sing you pirate songs and tell you pirate stories of Wendy when she'd had her fill of Pan and the other lost boys. Captain Hook did not take kindly to young Wendy's calling out. He knocked her down and held his hook beneath her pretty pout. But Wendy's eyes were steady as she cursed that mean old man, using foulest curses as only a sailor can. And so Hook missed the entrance of the rascal Peter Pan. Now Wendy's picked up fighting rather quickly, it is true. But if you have two brothers, then you're brilliant at it too. Still she welcomes laughter from behind the silken sails. Captain Hook looks daggers but grows sweaty, drawn and pale. Then it's up beyond the crow's nest, Peter yanks his aged foe. Wendy cries, admit defeat, old man, or he'll let go. Hook replies, defies bad form and swears to do sweet Wendy harm. But it's me who starts the combat, slicing Wendy through the arm. And it's Peter's hands that slip as Wendy cries out in alarm. Well, the croc did circle down below, and to his jaws hook fell. Where his soul now glowers is a tale we'll never tell. Who cares if Hook's still sailing in the blackest seas of hell? For Peter smiles at Wendy now by the light of Tinkerbell. Thus Wendy got herself a crew of ruthless men and brave to terrorize the Lost Boys. But only every Saturday I will sing you pirate songs and tell you pirate stories of Wendy when she'd had her fill of Pan and the other Lost Boys, of red-handed Jill who'd had her fill of Pan and his Lost Boys. So Wendy'd got herself a crew of ruthless men and brave, and they terrorized the Lost Boys each and every Saturday. One day Wendy says to Peter, I'd like more girls on my crew. So Peter goes a-hunting lost girls and brings back Green-Eyed Sue. Green-Eyed Sue was feisty, quite surly and quite sad, called Susie Rotten by her mom and Tomboy by her dad. Had the chance to be a pirate and call Peter Pan a friend. Her face lit up, her sadness fled, and she ne'er looked home again. She proudly followed Wendy, and she ne'er looked home again. Sue becomes first mate, as she's the first lost girl to live upon the ship and give to Wendy all the spirit she can give. Smee at last retires with Captain Jill's reprieve. It's graciously he goes, too wise to show that he's relieved. Peter keeps a-hunting up lost girls for Wendy's crew. The sailors take vacation time with nothing else to do. Sweet Wendy turns each girl into a pirate before long, by teaching them survival, how to sail and to be strong. Wendy's ship it prospers and the girls are eating well, a roving band of sisters singing songs and raising hell. The crew is full of pirates, but each one can keep her head, due to the small miracle and thanks to Wendy's pirate school. Brand new tales of daring do when Wendy start to spread. Wide-eyed children visit Neverland most every night, but now new sorts of fans arrive to see the boys and pirates fight. Kings and queens show up in Neverland from all across the world to see the only pirate ship that's captained by a girl. Disarmed by Mrs. Wendy, but she takes it in her stride. She bows to the Queen of Sheba and shows off her crew with pride. A pirate dropping curtsies is rare, we realize, but she's sure to come up with a bawdy joke and a twinkle in her eyes. Lost girls mind their P's and Q's with twinkles in their eyes. Recall now what I've said about how fairies love to gab. This goes for everyone from Tinkerbell to old Queen Mab. One night on the horizon a new set of stars was born, and Neverland they host a folk who sail in fleets of silver boats. No stars but these with the royal fleet of Titania and Oberon. The king and queen of fairy come to Neverland this night, on sailing silver ships that run on mischief and starlight, to meet this human girl child of whom the tales are sweet, and respectfully ask Wendy if she'll lead their royal fleet. Ooh! Well, how can Wendy turn down such an offer when it's made? To sail the sky with fairies and to lead their gay brigade. She tells the ruling monarchs that she'll gladly come and play, so long as the crew may keep their tourney with the boys each Saturday. So Wendy's made an admiral and rules the fairy band, diplomat between the worlds of Fae and Neverland. The crew are full delighted and wreak magic where they roam, but soon our admiral has thoughts of setting sail for home. The second star to the right does call and Wendy's its song. She lets her brothers know she's headed home before too long. They meet with her in secret to tell Peter Pan goodbye. Peter squares his jaw, and the lost boys try not to cry. Next night the ship sets sail out to the edges of the sky. Wendy calls her crew on deck and tells them her surprise. Above old London town she bids them follow through the air, and invites them home to meet her mom and be her sisters there. Nearly all the crew let Wendy know they cannot wait, but stoic stand a handful, including the first mate. Green-eyed Sue, before her captain asks to plainly speak her mind. It's sooner I'd lay down my life than leave this ship behind. A simple life of growing up is surely not for me. Living as a sailor's been the first time I am free. So by your leave, dear captain, I will be a pirate still, and carry on the legacy of our red-handed Jill. Wendy smiles a smile and says, I'll miss you, dearest one. But as this journey ends, I see a new one has begun. So carry on as admiral and captain in my stead, and guide your crew with a steady hand, and always keep your head. So Sue becomes the captain and begins another tale. Her bonny crew decide to teach the lost boys how to sail. She rules the fleets of Ferry and she reigns in Neverland, a pirate queen, a hatching schemes with Tink and Peter Pan. Tales are told of Sue and Wendy to keep all girls' brothers kind, unto their darling sisters, for if they are a mind to torment and to torture and to hairpull and to tease, one night she might turn pirate and run off to sail the seas. Not just the bonny brothers are the tales of Green-eyed Sue. Such warning fables show each mom and dad a thing or two. If e'er your sweetling makes a cutlass from a cardboard tube, you'll never rate nor tell her it's a boy's game she pursues. The freer that you raise a mind, the brighter it will bloom, and you'd rather have her home than off to join some scurvy crew, or sail with the likes of Green-eyed Sue. Never